Thanks to everybody for making it to the final session. My name is Gillian Clark. I'm CEO of Hyper. I live and work in New Zealand, and I have the great pleasure of being a colleague, and I like to think now a friend of Siraj. It's a really big treat that we've got Siraj here today. So Siraj has 20 years experience of organizational change. And if you think about all of the talks today and the focus on culture, I think that the talk today is going to be a real revelation about enterprise transformation. So over to Siraj.
Great, thank you. Are you able to hear me in the back? Thanks, Emmett. Yeah. Well, I'm really happy to be here. New Zealand is now my fourth home after the Middle East, India, United States, and now here. It's my second trip, but not the last. I promise to come back several more times. I came here in the month of July to do a training workshop, and in fact, I think you guys trained me. So that was a good experience. I'm really happy to see all of you all here again. Here's a very quick introduction about me. There is a lot of space here, but I don't have two mouths. So we can stay here, and there's space here. Most of the exercises will be here. So come on in. So this is me, Siraj. And as Gillian said, I've been studying organization change through personal transformation. And that means that I see the organization in the individual and the individual in the organization. I also have a lot of experience now, close to about 10 years of experience applying agile transformation to enterprise organizations. Gillian, Susan, Gareth, and I are a group of people who call ourselves SPCTs. We are trainers of the Scaled Agile Professional Club. Come on in, please. Thank you. And I've also done a lot of Scrum training, coaching, and adoption in my life. This is a study that sort of compares how agile transformation in an enterprise lands on the individual, and what happens to the individual, what types of individual, and what are the various behaviors, patterns, and emotional changes that happen to individuals. Within the individuals, I'll primarily focus on change agents. And so the first question to you is, do you see yourself as a change agent? If you are, raise your hand. There you go. That's why you're probably here. A little bit more about the companies I've worked for. There are a bunch of small companies that I've done quite a lot of work for. Both these companies were really small seed level companies that are now multi-million-dollar shops. And then there are, of course, a lot of large companies, Fortune 500 type of companies that have adopted different types of agile techniques to grow. And then I've brought in Temenos, which is my method for helping them to grow. All right. Here's a simple learning that I've learned. Almost every enterprise, and within them the leaders and the sponsors that are charged with transformation, do two classic things. They underestimate the impact and the amount of negative change that can happen as a result of bringing any method, but specifically agile, and they overestimate their capacity to influence and to bring about positive changes through bringing people together. Bringing people together is not easy. Enterprise, especially the ones that I've worked with and probably the ones that you're working in, do not know how to manage crowds, do not know how to manage large groups, all right? So let's do a very simple exercise, okay? And we'll be doing a lot of exercises in this kind of a fashion, and I'll explain more as we go along. Please help yourselves and ignore the chairs, but organize yourselves into 9 circles. So Gillian, Gareth, and Pallavi will help you. All of them have been through my workshops before, okay? Organize yourselves into 9 circles. All right. Another example of self-organization in play. So if you're in this fashion, then that's fine, and if not, then we'll figure something out. Okay. Gareth, are you with team 1, which is over here? All right. You guys got it. You guys are good. Just you want to call yourselves team 1? 1, 2, you're 3, 4, you're 5. Who's 6? 6? No, there's some confusion between these two. You're 6, then you need to come into the middle. Okay? Then you need to just come into the middle. It gives you an orientation, and I'll give you your orientation in a second now. Okay, and then you guys are 7, 8, and 9 over here. Well, good luck. There seems to be some interesting mixes over here. Don't worry about it. You'll get a hang of it as we go along, and we'll fix it as we go along. It's important to just do it rather than to be perfect. Okay? What you're doing is you're organizing yourselves around how an organization would see transformation and change in these various 9 containers. Okay? On the x-axis, we look at the risk to an organization of any change initiative. And on the y-axis, we look at the reward that an organization can get. So from an orientation point of view, this is team 1, right? You are high on reward, but low on risk. Okay? I know. Be happy. And I believe you are team 7. Okay, you guys are high on risk and high on reward. Okay? It doesn't matter if you don't get the orientation. Don't worry about it. We'll fix it. Okay? Now, here's a phrase over here, okay, that says that your change initiative and your change team underestimates the negative impact and overestimates its own positive impact. All right? So you have a skeptic here who can help you with that. So go for it. Take just 2 minutes, not more. Okay? And see if that's relevant to where you are in your organization. Okay? Let's go. Come on. Just a 2-minute conversation on underestimation and overestimation by an organization about its ability to manage agile transformation.
Just to be clear, the numbers, we want them to, the conversation is relevant to that context?
Yeah, yeah, if possible. All right, let's pause. Let's bring it to a pause. Let's hear from one or two people based on the amount of time we have. So do you guys want to say a couple of words on your experience and conversation? Fantastic. Great, thank you. Thank you so much. Maybe over here in the back. Yeah. Fantastic. I love the comment about not being aware of the risk of doing some kind of a change. Like even now I'm talking to a lot of customers who want to, in their words, implement agile methodology, but they have no idea what's in store for them and the amount of risk. For me, enterprise agile is like a double-edged sword. So fantastic. Stay in your groups. I'll bring one more conversation to you all, okay? So I said the first one is about the organization itself. The second is about the individual. No snowflake in an avalanche ever feels responsible, all right? So let's go back into your groups, okay? So you're moving your orientation now. These people spoke about organizational impact, now personal impact, okay? So back to your groups, and I'll ask two different teams the same questions. 2 minutes, please. How does an individual take or not take responsibility for enterprise transformation? What? What? All right, please stop. I can see there are a lot of conversations going on, but so now you feel dead and center in an agile transformation in an enterprise, right? There is the challenge of the individual who's trying to cope like a snowflake in an avalanche, and then there's this enterprise. There's no other way to call it. It's a beast. It's a beast. and it doesn't know which way to go, right? So the question is, if you're now dead in center of this space where you are trying to tame the beast and to also help the individual, what do you do? So I found myself in a similar situation many a time, and so with a lot of personal struggle, introspection, conversations with a lot of friends, I've sort of come up with, one method. And so I was struggling with this, like, how do you approach an organization that wants to do enterprise transformation? And then what do you call it? So I struggled, and I thought, rather than trying to give it a fancy name, let's just call it an approach. So the word I use is approaching an enterprise that's transforming. It's not fancy, it's just hard work, all right? So here's a first step to this, and please stay with your groups because we're going to just do a lot of exercises within the groups. It doesn't make sense to go back and come in, all right? So it was really important to pay attention to the individuals. It was really important to study the story of the individuals that make up the collective of an organization. And in order to study the story of an individual and to share the story of an individual, I created a very simple visual technique called an influence map. And it's very much akin to what Lynn said in the morning. He said use a triangle method, you, me, and the visual, right? So it's you, me, and the influence map to tell our stories. And then it's you, me, and the influence map to tell our organization's vision and stories, right? And then we came up with this method called the Temenos Vision Lab that talks about what is an organization's compelling shared vision and how is it made up of the personal vision of the individuals that make up the organization. So this is a classic organization. It's made up of, I'd say in this case, roughly about 5,000 individuals. We just represented as much as we could. And there were teams and divisions and the institution itself. So the challenge was, how do we bring the personal to the collective? And for a moment, the best thing that we could do was to suspend judgment and to actually just do it and to learn that what is the most personal is the most collective. And what is the most collective is the most personal. It's the ability of yourself as change agents who've come here to hold these two diametrically opposite tensions for an organization. And we'll go more into this as we speak along, all right? So here's a much more expanded view of the Vision Lab that we did for several of these companies. It's a 3-day lab that we do. We take the leadership team or the Agile team, and then we try to discover through a storytelling technique what is the personal vision of this individual and what is the compelling shared vision of the team or the company. Through this process, I discovered that what happens in an organization through years of neglect and not listening to the individual is a listening debt. There is a listening debt in every team over here because your organization has not paid attention to you. And it takes some kind of a physical act of removing yourself and your team out of your location and going away into like a beautiful atmosphere where you could actually give attention to each other and listen to the story, and through that story, find what is the personal vision of, let's say, Jillian, and how is it connected to me, okay? These are the simple exercises that we did, and there's lots more to talk about. But now let's look at who does this. In an organization with 5,000 people, there is no way external consultants can come and do it. It has to be internal. It has to be people who are part of the makeup of the company, and it has to be their leaders. It cannot just be outsiders. So we, again, through trial and error, I'm telling you all this is trial and error, we came up with 3 types of change agents: internal, external, and executive change agents. And we involve all types of these. And to sort of give some color about who these people are, I took the movie The Matrix and tried to lay it on my model. So Morpheus is this guy, who is trying to change Zion, and he's got the ship that he wants to change, but no one in his team wants to listen to him actually. And then he's got this girl, Trinity, and it doesn't work after bringing Trinity also. The internal change agent has just so much of capacity for change. He needs to bring an external change agent into the ship and into Zion to actually change it. right? So for those of you who are trying to do this kind of enterprise transformation on your own, two things. One, good luck, and two, try to find a good external change agent whom you can cultivate, train, tame, and motivate to be part of your machine. By the way, the lesson of this is the executive never gets the girl. It's always the external agent who gets the girl. I've seen it several times. Okay. But we have a story here, isn't it? We have a story here, isn't it? We have to, as I would take that most of you are either internal or external change agents. If you are an executive change agent, please raise your hand. VP, CEO, CIO, a budget of, let's say, 1 million or more plus. Who's got it? You got it? Okay. Give them a big hand. How many of these people do you see at these conferences? None. Let's just promise ourselves that next time we'll bring 2 of them and more, right? So it's really important as internal change agents to influence executives. You know, someone issued a challenge at the earlier session. Was it you, Michael? Yeah, there was a challenge. Here's another challenge. Bring more executives to these kinds of conferences. Influence them a little bit. They're also human beings. There is a listening debt for them also with their stories. Listen to them and bring them over here. Okay, so we have 3 types of change agents, all right? And then we need to train them. Here's how we train them. We train them on 4 things, and that's what you'll get today, very simple. 4 things to learn as change agents. One is a stance, and the stance, you know, in the most simplest of form is a humility, an understanding that the enterprise is much larger than you, and the cause of the enterprise is much larger than you can ever aspire. So it requires a certain amount of humbleness in you as a change agent to actually be able to change a large organization. So that's the stance. The tools, we give you a ton of tools. You saw one that we shared a few minutes ago. That's the influence map, and you'll be using that tool in the next exercise. Okay, we use the influence map to sort of draw our personal vision and then to share it with everyone and then to bring our shared vision for the whole collective over here. We'll try to do it today. Skills. There are multiple of skills, but we will take 2 and we'll get some exercise into this right now. The first skill that we try to train our change agents is called attunement. Okay, so pick one partner. Let's go. Okay, have you got it? Okay, all right, let's stop. You've got it, or if you've not, then you'll figure it out. Okay? Attunement is the ability of a change agent to empty the contents of his mind or her mind for the other person to read and do whatever they want. It's complete vulnerability and transparency. Okay? So take a second, figure out a personal vision or a desire that you have, and share it with the other person, and then the reverse. Okay? So this is attunement, one-on-one transparency. Let's go. 1 minute, please. All right, shall we stop? Hi everyone in the back. I was hoping for the volume to go down so that I could like jump in at the right time, but it was going up. Thank you. I'm humbled. Okay, so now I'm going to bring two skills together, but please pay attention to the first skill. Okay, the skill is called co-suffering. Okay, you know what is agile transformation? It's suffering. You got it. You got it. Whoever said that, you got it. The key difference between an organization that is successful and not successful is the ability to co-suffer. Okay? So what you're going to do now is you're going to bring the first one, which is attunement, and the second one, which is co-suffering together. I don't know how you're going to do it actually. Okay? But you'll figure it out. I have faith in you. And I absolutely love you guys. So go for it. Let's try it. Come on. Okay. Come here, my co-sufferer. Do you have someone?
What was the word? No.
Co-suffering. Attunement and co-suffering. Yeah. Which means you have to suffer with him. It's not about you. It's both of you. Suffer together. Do you have a co-suffering story here?
We do actually.
Say more.
No, come, you share your suffering story.
I've just come back from holiday and standing up was just sore feet, so maybe we'll sit down and
Sure.
sit down together.
Good.
I felt your pain and suggested we sit down.
Good. That's good. All right, let's stop. So we've just taken two very simple examples of skills that change agents need to practice to bring about a non-snowflake behavior and a true responsible behavior. Does anyone have a couple of stories to share about true suffering? Andrew? Mm. Yeah, and Michael, how was the co-suffering with you? Suffered with. There you go. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. So that's just a very small example, but if you take like a organization that you may belong to, which has say 1,000 people, there are 100 stories of suffering that are being ignored. And there's an organization that wants to move this engine into Agile. It's totally at two cross diametrical positions. You can't move that way when you have not taken care of your body, when you have not healed the wounds that your body has. And literally the work of most of the change agents that I have trained and that I've seen becoming better and better is one like a doctor. And I believe there's a Dr. Agile somewhere here. I saw him and then I think he ran away. But most of the change agents do some kind of a healing function in organizations. And it's this ability to heal the organization that allows them to move the organization. So Scrum Masters, product owners, change agents, project managers, you're all heroes and heroines in your own way, and you do healing in your own way, and then you are suffering at the same time. And so you got to have a co-sufferer to take care of this. I just wanted to pause that for a second. All right, next we'll move to practices. There are just 3 very simple practices. The first one was personal vision. I think you've done a little bit of that. Then the second one is the collective, which we call as a compelling shared vision. We try to differentiate it from a shared vision because in our experience a shared vision became too simple and non important in an organization. So we started finding out among the shared visions what is most compelling, and then the third one is the most important one. It's called clean slate. It's the ability of a change agent to continue to maintain a state where there is no baggage in an organization or in a team. All right. So now we'll bring all these 3 together and we'll do a mock exercise because the next one will be a little bit different. Go back into your pairs, talk about a personal vision, a shared vision, and an ability for you to maintain clean slate right now before you leave this conference for the day. Okay? And it might be like in my case, it might be, I wish I hadn't taken the previous session off to prepare for this session because I wanted to learn more, but I also wanted to prep for this session. So it's just my own way of reflection and doing a retrospective, all right? Okay, let's do it in small pairs and then we'll do it in the whole groups. 2 minutes, please. Personal vision, shared vision, and clean slate. Let's go.
Collective vision to actually move forward in a direction that is,
The 2 of you. Or all of us. How's it going?
I think we've got it. We're not quite sure about clean slate, but
Okay.
we've gone from takeaways from the conference back to our teams.
Yeah.
And then feeling that on the continuum of red to teal, some change is better than giving up entirely, and being able to demonstrate to our colleagues we're on the right path.
Good. Good. Do you have a collective vision for your department? I will call it on you then. All right, let's pause for a second. All right. I think the personal vision is easy. The clean slate, most of you have done retrospective, so you can do it. The collective, compelling shared vision is the tough one. All of y'all, most of y'all are strangers, but I thought I'll ask Andrew to talk about a shared vision for the Department of Internal Affairs. There you go. Come on. Let's go. Give us something big.
So I have inherited helping shoehorn Agile into a large government department. That's a big deal. And I think from listening today about the continuum of red through to teal, seeing the positivity of being, I think we're somewhere in the amber to orange scale. I very much think if I could bring potential product owners with me to the conference next year, so they're hearing the same message from a community of Agile people rather than hearing it from me, that would be a positive thing. And then going back and being able to say, this is the impact you as a product owner have on the vision of this project, business as usual, whatever, is a far more positive way of reading something online or having a textbook and feeling if you move away from full-blown Agile, you're evil. Being able to do something within the context of your organisation is what you should be aiming at.
Great. Thank you. Give him a big hand, guys. You know, in doing this kind of shared vision work for, I'd say, close to about 500 such teams, this is what I'm learning. The shared vision of you is a shared vision of me. It's all connected. You know, it's really all connected. The personal vision of every person in this room is the personal vision of me at the deepest level. It's all just deeply connected. All right, so this is what I was talking about. You know, how do you approach a transforming enterprise? You call it as you see it. You're approaching, that's it. You're just approaching. You're not transforming the enterprise. The enterprise is transforming itself. You're not changing it, it's changing by itself. You as a change agent are walking towards an enterprise that will select you as a change agent if you're deserving, which means you're humble and you've got the tools and you've got the training and you've got the techniques to come and help it. And then we focus on this a lot. Try to understand the enterprise agility method that you want to use. We've found some success in using Scaled Agile Framework. There are friends of ours who found success in other methods. Every method works. And it's really up to how much depth you can bring to the organization. But this is the big one, the enterprise way. The enterprise has a method or a way of doing things, and it's not going to change just because you want to have agile transformation. It's really strong. Companies like Hewlett-Packard call it the HP way, or there is maybe a culture of an organization that you're already in. These 15 sets of tools that you call agile, that you bring into the organization, will one day become a part of the culture of the organization. And they might say things like, yeah, visualization or daily stand-up, it's not agile, it's just the way we do things, right? What we bring to the table is Temenos, and it's pretty simple. We bring these things that I've been talking to you about. 3 types of change agents, 4 types of training, and then 3 types of tools that we talk about, which is the personal vision, shared vision, and the clean slate. So we did this a few times, and it didn't work initially, then it worked. This was the key differentiator over here, which is exactly the geo-positioning that you're all in right now. Okay? So in order to take this exercise to the next level, I'm going to ask some reconfiguration. I know some of you are tired. If you're tired, just sit down. But try to organize yourselves exactly the way this is so that you can see how this works. Okay, so you guys are now high-low. Okay, who's here? Number 6. Team number 4. Sorry. Whoever is this here. 3 teams here, 3 by 3. So volunteers, please help me. I don't know if I have any volunteers though. Okay, self-organize. One of the two. I usually have a lot of volunteers. Okay, are we good? 5? All right, are we good? Okay, I think we're not good, but it doesn't matter. All right, what you're going to do is you're going to focus on personal vision, shared vision, and clean slate at a team level. You're going to use the orientation of your team. So if you are number 1, then you have an orientation of high reward and low risk. Okay? Use the orientation of your team and talk about what could be the personal vision for the team members. Each person brings it out. The shared vision for your team, and what could be a clean slate for your team. I have absolutely no idea how you're going to do it. So good luck. She said 5. Let me just, that lady. Yeah, 15. Yeah, just facilitate. Can I just interrupt you? I think you guys have the toughest job. Right? So you are high reward, high risk, low reward. You're here. You're number 9.
Risk of change or
Yeah.
high risk of change?
High risk of impact of change.
Impact of change.
Okay, so you're the number 9 circle. Every organization has a number 9. You know what they do? They don't talk about it. Okay, that's who you guys are. So you guys need to voice the number 9. Okay, the number 9 needs a clean slate first. You got to remove the baggage first. Then you need a shared vision and a personal vision. All right? Do what you can. Use an example. Most of you look like your government people, which is a natural number 9, isn't it? It's a fact. The government is what is there to go after the most riskiest projects, right? So come on, take an example and let's do it. Good. Good? Okay. Yeah, take these guys.
next month or something, all through MPI would be a high risk, high reward strategy.
Yeah, good. You guys will win always.
What did she say about the 5 minutes?
It's 15. She was doing 555.
So how much? So I think there's some people who be confused and think he's quite abstract. So that's some of the guys are talking to.
Good.
I think what would be really good now is to make this very precise about what their call to action is.
Yeah.
So you say, right, we have an example here of a low risk.
That's right. That's what is the next one.
So that's like call to action.
Good. All right, let's pause for a second. Okay, if you've got the basic principles of the risk-reward matrix and your particular orientation, and you've got a personal vision, a shared vision, and a clean slate, now make up an initiative, and it should live within the circle that you're in. Okay, an initiative would be, just as a most basic example, we need to bring agile training to our company. In my example, that would be a low risk and low reward, so probably that's you guys, right? Third circle, all right? Is that easy? Okay. The most difficult one, sorry? Good. The most difficult one when we do the debrief will be number 9. Many organizations do change initiatives that fall in the number 9 circle, and you know what they do? Do you know how they deal with it? They don't talk about it. All right? Okay, so take maybe 3 minutes, talk about an initiative, and then we'll do a brief, but we'll listen from number 9 and maybe 1 or 2 other circles. Okay, let's go. 3 minutes. A government project. A government project. Most government projects are number 9s. In India, for example, building a dam, constructing a power station, constructing roads. It's
They're not team levels, so we're talking about this at team level. So it's a team level.
team level number 9. High risk, low reward. Making a Scrum Master and Agile coach. Yeah. All right, let's pause for a few more seconds. Okay, let's hear number 9. You guys are ready there? Gillian and company? 1 minute? 30 seconds. Please continue. 30 seconds is what they want. Good. All right, they're ready. Gillian and Andrew, you guys want to brief us? What would be an example of a change initiative that has high risk and low return? Wow. That's a really fantastic example. And someone asked me, so I said my example in one of my contexts was to make Scrum Masters as agile coaches with minimal training, and it's a potential for disaster in some cases. All right, let's listen to this. This is another classic one where enterprises will go to. So like when you have, whatever, enterprise transformation managers or VPs, they look at all the things to do, and then they classify it, they do all kinds of metrics or whatever, and then they lean towards this one. Okay? Yeah, what's an example of you guys? Yeah? Yeah. 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 Fantastic. Yeah. So I've given you a range between 1 and 9. Gillian, do you want to say something? Good. See, so it's a high risk, high return kind of situation. What I would like to offer you as a takeaway is to understand the method, which is an approaching method, not a transforming method, and to use a very simple tool, which is a risk-reward matrix, to decipher what each change initiative means to your organization. It's a very simple tool that I've offered to many companies, and they're able to adopt it immediately. People really understand it instantly and are able to use it in their work. Before I close, I have a little bit of a punchline about what I do, which is enterprise and leadership advisory using all these simple models and tools. And then finally, before you guys leave, here's a list of websites or books that you can download about the work that I do. And lastly, before I close, if it comes, it doesn't come. Yeah. This is a mantra of a change agent. It's better to be interested than interesting. It'll help you. It'll save you a lot in the long run. Finally, I'll thank you for everything. I'll open up for some questions. I think I have a couple more minutes. So any questions anywhere? Thank you for being so patient, by the way.
Any questions for Siraj?
Say that again? Yes.
So this is the program.
Yeah.
The slides will be available. If you have any questions, then you can wait behind. But thanks very much, Siraj. It
Yep.
was interesting and very dynamic, his talk. So the network and drinks are on in the visa room. So thanks very much.
Thanks a lot, everyone.